Gabor Mate doesn't think ADHD is real. And at first that kind of upset me. And I was like, you know what? Are you just trying to defend a label? Are you holding on to something because it's something you have? So I was like, no, give the man some consideration. I read 3 of his books. I've listened to several of his podcasts in which he actually speaks about ADHD and how he was diagnosed with it, but that he doesn't really think it's real because he feels that ADHD is really just a presentation of trauma, of childhood trauma. And I get what he's saying. I really do, because the biology of trauma, the neurological response of trauma, and ADHD responses are very, very similar. And he himself experienced a great deal of childhood trauma during the war era. He was separated from his mother, so it's a personal perspective of his. But he's actually ignoring a lot of science. And the fact that 2 things can be true at the same time. If you have a sensitive nervous system, if you have ADHD or autism, the responses that you have to normal everyday things are going to be different than those that don't have that same type of nervous system. And so things that cause trauma responses in your body will be different. And honestly, if you've made it your whole life without a diagnosis for neurodivergence, if you've made it your whole life without an ADHD or an autism diagnosis, I don't know how you don't have trauma on top of those things. So I guess my question is, why can't it be both? Why isn't it just considered both? I think if you get a late diagnosis for autism or ADHD, you have a CPTSD diagnosis underlying in there somewhere. But a lot of somatic teachers have hopped on this train that ADHD isn't real and that it is just a trauma response, and that by regulating your nervous system, you will solve all of your ADHD, it will disappear. And that's just not true, and it's harmful. So what do you think? Tell me in the comments.